Antisocial Kid. Everything you need to know for your parenting journey following the best practices. Written by Laura Hemmingway. Narrated by Corrinne Lepage. Introduction. A universal belief across all cultures is that children are precious. Now, how we approach and treat children varies from one person to another, but the common school of thought is to protect, provide, and nurture a child as they grow up. Childhood stories can be hysterically funny. A classmate of mine was used to hearing her parents call each other by loving pet names like Honey and Sweetheart. In turn, she was in the habit of repeating the same names for fun. For example, she would say to her dad, "Hey honey, can we have pizza tonight?" One day, her parents were arguing, and some unsavory names were thrown around, including things like Ratweasel. Thinking this is just another loving pet name she hadn't heard before, she called her dad a Ratweasel while at the checkout counter of the supermarket. She said to him, "This is not the cheese Mom uses for our sandwiches, Ratweasel." There was dead silence in the entire supermarket, and her red-faced dad couldn't drag her out of there fast enough. This same friend went to a restaurant with her parents for dinner. When it was her turn to order, she asked for a screwdriver, and her mother's face turned white. This was her mother's favorite alcoholic drink at home. According to Ivan Doig, childhood is the one story that stands by itself in every soul, whether good or bad. For every happy childhood story, there are just as many hard stories that can break one's heart. Actors like David Arquette grew up in an abusive home where there was also alcohol and drugs involved, despite being brought up in a famous showbiz family. He is on record sharing about how his mother violently attacked his two sisters, Rosanna and Patricia, and he would steal beer and marijuana from his famous father, Louis Michael Arquette. Richard Pryor, the late comedian, had a difficult childhood. He was born to a violent pimp and a prostitute. His grandmother, who was his primary guardian, owned the brothel where his mother operated from. He also grew up in the brothel. The cost of living in such an unhealthy environment had painful repercussions. Richard Pryor self-medicated using drugs and alcohol, and Arquette also struggled with hard drugs and alcohol abuse. David had to check himself into a rehabilitation facility to get himself back on track. But look at how resilient these two traumatized children became, growing their talents and making a success of their lives in their respective fields, despite the odds being stacked against them.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?